It's that time of week once more for Muji and Dan to give you the comic store. It's time to open up those bags and boards, fans. Welcome to Get Your Pulls.
Welcome to Get Your Pulls, number 114, where the whole gang is here. It's Muji.
It's Dan.
It's Todd.
And Jay.
Yeah, and unfortunately we're not professional podcasters, because that would be the life. I mean, we would probably we'd be the minimum wage makers of professional podcasting if we got a wage. But, you know, everybody's got jobs and stuff that actually pay them, so it's been a while since we all got to get together, so this is nice.
Yeah, get the whole gang back. A lot of things have happened in the absence of the show. Deadpool came out.
Yeah.
And
it was great.
Damn it, it was great.
It was amazing.
And it's going to make more money than Man of Steel made, which I hope doesn't spell doom for this Batman vs. Superman movie. But it almost seems like a no-brainer, though. Like, if you listen to comic people, Deadpool has been one of the 2 or 3 most popular Marvel characters for like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes sense that
People act like it's a recent thing.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, it's another one. It's like, I am a little bit shocked just how well it's doing, but I thought it was going to do awesome. Yeah. I think that it's another classic, like, oh my god, another Marvel movie made money. Like, well, what underdog at the box office did it? You know, that's the way everybody treats it. And I'm saying it is rated R, and it does look like it's going to end up being the like, most highest grossing rated R movie of all time. So it is pretty incredible. But
I think it's number 3 right now or something.
Yeah, but it's still playing, and it's still, you know, those things like slowly add up, or like, well, this week it made 4 million, this week it made 3, you know, it's like number 11 or 15 at the box office, but then by the end it ends up making a lot. Yeah, so it was great though. It was really awesome, and it was one of those situations where it just looked like they just let them do what they wanted to do, and they made like an actual, like, it felt like Deadpool. That was I was the most afraid, especially after that X-Men movie, that it wasn't going to be Deadpool, and it was just 100%. They're like, let's just go for the comics. Like, all the absurdness of just the breaking the fourth wall and everything, like, they just totally embraced.
And that's the world we live in now, you know? That's the world we live in, where, like, that is the hip thing to do right now, is to copy the source material directly. And it's so crazy because, you know, when the comic book movies first rose, you had the fucking X-Men. They wouldn't dare put them anywhere near anything that looked like a superhero costume.
The black jacket men.
And now it's the exact opposite. It's like, let's make it more true to the source material. Let's make it exactly like the comic, because that's what people are responding to.
Yeah, and I'm positive in this Apocalypse movie that if we don't somehow, by the end of the movie, see the suits, like, I know they haven't said anything about seeing the suits, and it's really hard for people to keep secrets.
Yeah.
I think we're either going to see it towards the end, or we're going to see it in the next movie for sure. That we're going to see all the X-Men and their individual, you know, crazy spandex colored, like, looking suits.
It's about time.
Yeah, because they're halfway going into it. I mean, for this movie, they've put a couple of them. I mean, Apocalypse is short, but he's basically in his outfit. It's just a little bit done up, but it looks like it.
Yeah, it's pretty much it.
They've put what's her name? The new
Psylocke.
Psylocke is just in her outfit.
Right, straight from the comic.
She's in her outfit. So
we haven't seen Jean or any of these others, like, as far as what they're going to look like as superheroes, you know.
Yeah, we've only seen them kind of in the jackets and stuff, in like the Xavier school outfits, which also the posters, the new posters, I think, the previews for the movies, like, I don't know, or maybe I didn't pay attention, like, I didn't think it really revealed this, and maybe the poster isn't revealing it, but it really feels like the poster is, like, kind of telling you, like, who's going to be the 4 horsemen, and it's going to be actually, like, Magneto and some of the people, because there's these 2 new posters.
That really awesome trailer, the second one that dropped, where they went and redid all of the Apocalypse effects.
Yeah.
They blued it up a little.
Yeah, exactly.
He's blue, guys.
That one. Oh, and it looked great. You know, they're like, oh, people don't like this? Well, fuck it. Let's make it more like the comic.
Yeah, exactly.
People know who that actor is.
But in that one, they pretty much intimated that it was going to be like Wolverine, Magneto, Psylocke, and Angel. and that of course, like you got to think we're gonna get Archangel in this. You have to think.
The new poster, I think basically confirms it. Like he's got the metal wings. So the new posters for it, they did like a good guy and bad guy poster. So you've got bald Xavier on the poster with Jean and Nightcrawler and Scott and a couple other people, and then you've got on the other poster you've got Apocalypse and Magneto's with him, Psylocke's with him, and a couple others are with him too. But that's basically what it looks like, is that he's gonna, and Archangel's with him. It looks like he's gonna possess maybe some of the other X-Men to be the Horsemen for this movie, is what it looks like. But it looks awesome.
Mohawk Storm. Let me just remind you.
Mohawk Storm is there.
This is the total relaunch of the X-Men universe right here. This is where the two break apart from what they were, combining the other series. And it did relaunch technically with X-Men First Class, but this, because of the time stream swap and the last movie, now you really get to see a relaunch of the X-Men universe with all the characters you want. You want, like, to me, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Cyclops, those are of my absolute favorite characters. So it's like they've got to be a part of it. Nightcrawler is probably my favorite X-Men. Colossus was always my favorite as a kid. Nightcrawler's right there.
Who was awesome in Deadpool. I mean, they made him a little different. They made him a little bit more comedy relief than you'd probably expect Colossus to be. But he was awesome.
No, if they don't just go with that as Colossus in the X-Men
that's our new Colossus
now, like, I'll be sort of disappointed.
And one of the great things
Russian!
One of the great things that keeps on seeming to happen, as it keeps getting pushed more, it seems like every couple of years Hugh Jackman tells you, I'm going to make one more X-Men movie, and every couple of years you find out he's going to make more. Supposedly, there's one more solo Wolverine movie coming out, and he's done. But then this week, Ryan Reynolds has been kind of tweeting at him and all this stuff, and now all of a sudden it's like, I would love to do a Deadpool and Wolverine meet-up movie, so maybe that means that's going to prolong our Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the X-Men universe.
Just get him in for X-Force, because it looks like the classic Liefeld team, but with the tone of the newer series where they were the Black Ops Kill Squad for the X-Men. And so, if you could add Wolverine into that as a little cameo, that'd be nice. Already having Cable and Deadpool in it, that'd be pretty great.
I'm all about
Maybe we'll get to see Wolverine in a mask finally.
I think we will.
What's going on there?
Yellow spandex, damn it.
Well, speaking of the success of Deadpool and the R rating, of course, now lots of studios are getting the R rating fever. Marvel Studios proper, which a lot of people who are just not fans don't even realize that these aren't the same company that's making these movies. But Fox has come out and said, yes, you're going to get more R ratings. X-Force is probably going to be rated R now, and Wolverine 3 is going to be rated R. And Wolverine 3,
which as good as Wolverine 2 was, that was part of what held it back. Was like a lot of people complain it's not bloody enough. This time they're going to say fuck it.
Well, and it's going to be Old Man Logan. That's the latest rumor.
That will be awesome.
That's pretty fucking badass. Like, I mean, it's going to be weird because they won't have some of the villains. Like, they won't have access to the Hulks or Spider-Man or the Red Skull or any of that. So it's going to have to be like a whole unique version of it.
Yeah.
But just the basis of it. Wolverine retired from being Wolverine, hasn't popped his claws in 30 years, he accidentally killed the X-Men. That's enough to go with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it really is. That's the core of the story.
Hugh Jackman's always, I think, done a pretty good job in his portrayal.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think an R rating would give him a little more room to really flesh the character out.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the times where he's been the most successful are when they've let him really be the most Wolverine. Like, the Wolverine 2 movie, which I really liked a lot. I didn't think it had like the best plot in the world, but what you liked the most about it was the action, where you're like, he's being Wolverine, he's fucking everybody up. It's not as bloody as it should look like after Wolverine's, messes everybody up, but they weren't going for the R rating. I mean, you just add that movie as the R rating, or go watch the unrated edition where they put the blood in. It's great. So
the mansion scene from X2 where he's fighting all those Black Ops troops,
like that fucker on the fridge.
I don't think we've ever truly seen like a straight-on Wolverine berserker rage.
I wish they'd do a Weapon X.
You're gonna have to have rated R for that.
Yeah, but that seems awesome. And another thing, jumping to another movie, talking about the rated R thing, which I didn't understand, like, just the online, like, kind of outrage on it. I mean, I guess I should, because people get outraged about no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Was when they announced that they were going to release a rated R version of Batman vs. Superman, everybody and their brother, mostly comic book creators, were like, Superman can't be in a rated R movie. Like, that would never happen. Superman can't be in a rated R movie. But Batman motherfucking can, because if you want to go watch the actual Dark Knight Returns, if you want to do a true to like movie adaptation, that's a fucking rated R movie.
Oh yeah.
The Killing Joke is a rated R movie.
Oh yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think that's probably maybe some of the stuff that's going to cause it to be rated R. Because a big thing that popped up was this Jenna Malone, actress. She's in like the Hunger Games and stuff. I think most people know her from. She got cut from the movie, and so they said they just didn't have time because her story didn't really go with the big part, but it was part of the Batman backstory of the movie they had to cut out.
Yeah,
there was a big rumor. Everybody was like, "Who's she gonna play? Is she playing Carrie Kelly? Is she playing Batgirl? Who's she playing?" And then Zack Snyder gave an answer of, "She's definitely not Robin. She's definitely not Batgirl." Well, then, now, somebody's seen, and this could be a hoax, but somebody, after seeing an early screening, which they often do at early screenings, they'll give the audience, like, Q&As, like, certain things, like, one of the questions was, like, who did you want to see more in the movie, who did you want to see less of in the movie? Beside her name on this card, it simply says Barbara Gordon, so it doesn't say Batgirl, it says Barbara Gordon, which leads a lot of people to think that's the rated R thing, is that maybe there's like Batman, because he obviously has a lot of flashbacks in the movie. Maybe he has some flashbacks to Killing Joke and what happened to Barbara. Also, what happened to Jason Todd, because you see that, you know from the previews that a Robin's died. They basically all say that a Robin's died.
Definitely.
So I think that version of the Joker that's actually, really hurt and then killed one of Batman's people, that could be what's going to be in that, in the rated R version. And it's also gonna happen. And it also leads you to believe that we might get an Oracle in the Batman movie too.
A lot of people think that the Joker in this new universe could be the Jason Todd Joker from Dark Knight 2. So that's also another possibility to get to that storyline.
Right.
Which that was kind of adapted in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, but it was Tim Drake that ended up becoming the Joker. Well, it's still a really cool story, but they could go a number of routes with that. Very excited for Batman versus Superman.
I don't care if you're going to release a rated R version of the thing. You don't have to watch it. You can watch the PG-13 rated version in the movie theater and just buy the PG-13 rated version. Like, the fact that exists is no harm to you. Like, if you feel assaulted by the fact Superman's in a rated R movie, then I feel like you don't have any real problems.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't get that. And it's not a rated R movie. It's a PG-13 movie that will be rated R on the special edition that they will sell separately.
And it's just easier for them to do that because I think it's because Deadpool did so good. They're just saying it's a rated R version. They do uncut versions of almost everything, which would be rated R. The uncut version, that's what uncut versions of most of these movies are rated R versions. Just the stuff that they had to cut out of the movie to get the PG-13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think that it's a hot word right now because of Deadpool. They're like, oh, we're going to give you a rated R version too, and people don't need to freak out.
No need to freak, But what you can freak out about, of course, Marvel Studios has come out and said they will never do an R-rated movie, but don't have to be R-rated to get you right in the feels, like the Civil War 2.
Oh my gosh.
The trailer number 2 that just released earlier today as we record this with the big reveal. And Todd and Jay, I'll let you guys discuss this because you're obviously the biggest fans of the character here in the room.
Well, I just remember a couple days ago hearing rumors that this trailer was forthcoming, and I was just hesitant to, jump on that bandwagon because I want to see pictures of Spider-Man.
Give me pictures of Spider-Man!
Thank you, Jeremy. Like any good J. Jonah Jameson. But it came out and it was everything I had hoped it would be.
About damn time.
Yeah. It is about damn time.
Yeah, we finally got to see Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. Finally.
And I think the biggest thing I'm excited about, which is kind of silly, is the kind of lens-like spider eyes that can retract, and I think this is the year of CGI comic book character spider eyes. Deadpool had them too, but in a different
I thought
way.
it looked cool. I thought that took a little bit of a little bit of heat.
Yeah,
a lot of that, and that's another thing I'm saying. Like, you watch that trailer and like you picked out that detail, like to be mad about.
Yeah,
but fucking Spider-Man just caught Captain America's shield, motherfucker. Like, who cares if his eyes are moving?
People complaining about that don't read the comics, they don't realize that Spider-Man does that all the time. They just draw his eyes like that to show emotions. Maybe it doesn't make sense in the comics, but in the trailer, if you zoom in, you can tell that it's like a series of lenses, and you actually can get two different Spider-Man looks, like the big Todd McFarlane eyes or like the little Steve Ditko Spider-Man eyes.
I always like McFarlane to be out.
Yeah, so it's Spider-Man for everybody.
Say what you want about him being CGI. I mean, the kid they cast to play him was a little shrimp, you know, like, so he's obviously not going to be out in the suit kicking ass, and, you know, other than, you know, I mean, maybe he is at some places, but, you know, in some of the close combat stuff, but, you know, all of the acrobatics, he's got to be CGI. But the costume is the most, and they've done some good Spider-Man costumes for the movies, but it's the most true to comic, true to source material, accurate Spider-Man costume ever.
It's looking really good, and the spider is very reminiscent of the Todd McFarlane tiny spider with the kind of stubby legs.
Yeah.
So that's a little nod to him, and the webs look different this time too.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
It's almost like a double webbed pattern.
It's kind of, but it looked great.
Yeah.
And it's about it.
And he has some, like a belt on, kind of, like this little...
I just watched it right before we came in here, internet people, so I didn't get to do the analysis like...
I did some analysis.
Look at the stills.
Then somebody had Disney released a big blown up picture of what he looks like so people could analyze it. Of course I did.
Okay. Well,
and I made it my wallpaper on my computer as well.
Yeah, he looks really cool. I would say that as much as I hated it, as much as it's probably the worst Spider-Man movie, the worst one, Amazing Spider-Man 2, the costume was pretty perfect, I thought.
Yeah, it was a great costume.
They did like the most like from the comic thing, but it's cool to see something new. I mean, you don't want to see the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And especially with it being like, it's the Spider-Man that's like, you know, a teenager in 2015, not the one from 1960. So, of course, he's going to have some upgrades. Yeah.
Yeah, so that killed it. I mean, Civil War 2,
really did.
Like, hype factor couldn't be bigger for that right now.
Yeah.
We have a tiny guest in the podcast studio. My daughter Rory has stumbled in to say hi. She particularly wanted to say hello to her Uncle Muji.
Hello.
But yeah, Civil War 2, X-Men, Suicide Squad. Oh, speaking of J. Jonah Jameson, the one thing I wanted to throw out, casting announcement. J.K. Simmons, the best J. Jonah Jameson of all time.
Absolutely.
The only J. Jonah Jameson, you know, in my opinion. Like, who else could play him better than that guy did? But has been cast in the DC universe as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's an interesting decision, and I fully support it, because he's a great actor.
I mean, he's really great. He's been really good as, like, cops and a bunch of things, so there you go. Although I would have to say, it's really, I feel like, from the Dark Knight, like, trilogy, the hardest thing to ever beat is going to be the Gary Oldman Gordon.
Oh, could you do better than that? I mean,
like, I already feel like Affleck's going to be the best Batman without even seeing the movie, just based off the previews. Which even Christian Bale, funny enough, for all of the Dark Knight as much as anybody, but for all the, like, nobody could do it better than Christian Bale thing, he came out and said, he's like, I never thought I got Batman right.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, the jury was out for a long time with me about Affleck as Batman. But, like, the closer it gets and the more you see and hear about it, I think it's going to be good. I'm coming around to it.
Seems like the genuine article.
He looks the most like Batman, and everything I've seen in the previews for the movie, like, made me think Batman Bruce Wayne completely. And it's obviously, I mean, he's playing, like, the Dark Knight Returns version. He's, 100%, like... grizzled, like, I'm not taking your shit. I don't give a shit about the law. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, Batman.
And he's possibly the largest Batman we've ever seen, too.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which is very Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, he should be.
And when we saw, and we talked about this, I think, on the last one, but when the last trailer came out for it, where it shows the scene where he comes up from the floor and beats the shit out of all those guys, like, that's the most, like, Batman action. Like, even in the Nolan movies, like, most of it was shot, like, really up close. Because, you know, he's still kind of like, even Christian Bale talked about in the suit, you couldn't move that great, so they had to use really tight angles. In this one, he just looks like, you know, one of the best martial artists in the world, which is what he's supposed to be. So, it looks phenomenal.
I hate to admit, like, what finally got me, like, on the Affleck train was the fact that I was thinking about him and Christian Bale. And Affleck looks like he's rich more than Christian Bale did. Like, he used to look like he's
He looks like both. Like he looks like he's like a rich. He looks like a rich old Republican, which is what you kind of imagine a lot of Bruce Wayne is. The old school versions of the Republican, not the new school crazy versions of the Republicans. And and he looks like he could beat the shit out of everybody. Which Christian Bale also, even when he got ripped up, looks like he weighs about 165 pounds. You know, and Affleck does not look that way. So I mean, Christian Bale's great. He's the best version that we've seen, but I think Affleck's going to crush it. And I mean, I guess it was the second trailer. The first trailer looked cool, but in that second trailer,
that's
we talked about before, when you see the building going down, he's not even dressed up as Batman, but as Bruce when he goes running full blast like into the debris of that building. I was like, that's fucking Batman. That's definitely Batman.
Hype factor for Civil War, like you said earlier on Facebook today, it was a mic drop by Marvel to say, your big movie's coming out.
And they waited till last. If they would have waited to show Wonder Woman in action, until next week for DC, but the way that the movies have played out, they didn't have the time to do that. They couldn't wait until a week before the movie. But we'll see which one's better. I mean, Marvel's got the advantage on the fact that, like I said, this is like episode 10 or 11 in this ongoing story that's going to keep going until people are finally like, you can't reboot it again, motherfuckers, we're out.
Yeah.
Which is going to be probably 10 or 20 years from now. And this is really episode 2 in the DC story. So they've got a big advantage. But I don't know, man. I think they're both going to be great. And I also think Wonder Woman may end up stealing Batman vs. Superman because the times they've shown her have also been great. Really equal to the action of Batman was the one scene where they showed where Wonder Woman was fighting, where she just kind of glides 50 feet with the sword in the air, and I was like, oh shit, that looks awesome too.
Some early reviews have come out of Batman vs. Superman from screeners. No details, but some general thoughts have arrived online, and the consensus seems to be, if you liked Man of Steel, you will love this movie. If you did not like Man of Steel because of some certain things, you will probably love this movie even more.
It seems like it completely addresses all of Superman's things that happen.
That Wonder Woman is absolutely ferocious, so that probably lends some credence to the fact that was the exact word people described her as ferocious.
Sweet.
So that lends some credence to your theory that she might steal the movie. And that it's a good old-fashioned superhero romp like you would expect. So I'm really fucking hoping.
Yeah, that's just
best.
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
2 weeks away. That'll definitely be an open at night, or no matter my work schedule, no matter what I have to do the next day. That'll definitely be a fucking midnight, whatever, Thursday, whatever it. Not even midnight now. It'll be like an 8 o'clock
we get a
Thursday.
whole preview day now.
I think they've really done a great job, I think, because they know their audience is aged. I think that's their thing. It's like the people that were going to see Spider-Man and X-Men at midnight, they have jobs now, so we're going to let you guys see it at 8 o'clock because we know you got to wake up and go to work the next day. Yeah.
I have to take my back pill.
Yeah. That's awesome. I guess that's pretty much it for movies. I mean, for TV shows, a lot of things have taken time off. I mean, I don't think there's anything new to big time talk about for TV shows. I mean, they did show, this is not 100% comic book, but Game of Thrones for next season looks awesome. Really pumped up. They showed the first real full-length preview of that, and it looks really badass. And then, and then they've shown a little mini preview for the Preacher show, and they've at least the characters all look great. Like they do all. I mean, this is the most skeptical I've been of any show, just because. And you can prove me wrong because Sons of Anarchy they did on TV, and I just feel like Preacher. A lot of it is just so. The language they use it really sets the mood so much that they can't do that. Maybe they can find a way to do it, without that. But
and the story content, all the religious stuff, it's going to be a miracle if it comes to TV.
It's going to be a miracle if Seth Rogen can go east of the Las Vegas border after this, because there's going to be a lot of crazy religious stuff in this book or in this show, but. I mean, that looked pretty cool.
We got the return of The Walking Dead came back.
Yes. It did.
Shit's happening.
My God, 2 of the best episodes we've seen so far. I think we've been 3 into it now, but my God, holy shit. And it's the most true to the comic shit they've done yet.
Yeah, they're really fucking people up.
And they're catching up to the comic pretty quick, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are catching up. I would say, I don't know, man, the comic... We'll see if the TV show doesn't calm down, because post what's happening right now, if you look at the amount of issues that happen from and spoilers if you're not watching. I mean, it's always spoilers here, but spoilers if you haven't read the comic or watching the show. But it's Negan time on the show, and if you think Negan got introduced like a little bit before issue 100, like 98 or something maybe. I think 100 was like the first like full Negan issue, and we're up to like 140 now. So there's been quite a bit of stuff. It's just I think the Negan stuff took a really long time, so we'll see if it takes a couple of seasons to play out, or if it doesn't on the TV show.
Yeah, this should be interesting because we've got. I mean, there's a lot of really cool shit to come, like Ezekiel and the fucking tiger, like that. To come, and finding the various other communities.
They've done a pretty good job, whichever way you want to look at it, a pretty good job or a pretty smart job of throwing in. Sometimes in Walking Dead, they'll throw you in 2 or 3 episodes where the plot doesn't move, like their personal relationship plots move forward, but the actual events don't really move forward very much. So we could be looking at, I'm guessing next season, a crazy season of like action and crazy stuff, and then they'll probably slow it back down. But I mean, at least you have the knowledge of, if they do catch the comic, Kirkman's doing both, so they can do whatever they want.
Let's cast our lots now. Who do we think's going down? Because of course, as everybody knows, spoilers again, Glenn was the one who met Lucille in the comic, and
I don't think it's going to be
he
Glenn.
Can't die because everybody expects it.
I feel like they're not going to do Glenn. I feel like watching the show, maybe Carol, because she's still alive, and I feel like for the show purposes, that like, I feel like the Untouchables are Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl.
Yeah.
Even though they really dangle like Daryl a lot, like I just think too many people would not want to watch this. So there's too many women that watch the show that love Daryl, and AMC would just be like, "Please don't do him."
I hope it's
Daryl. That's a good point. I think it's kind of going to be Daryl.
I hope it is Daryl.
I feel like, yeah, I mean that would be a huge shocker and a big like, oh shit, like anybody could die moment. So if they really want you to feel that way, then I think that's the way it's going to happen. But I really feel like. I feel like there's a lot of people that if Daryl died would be really like upset, not in a like, oh my god, you surprised me and this is like a great story type of way, but they would be like marks about it and be like, oh, you're going to get rid of Daryl, I'm not going to watch it, even if it is like really great drama.
That would absolutely
sort of way.
So that's one of my theories. I have another theory as well. My other theory is that they've been taking you on this whole roller coaster ride with Glenn because everybody knows that in the comics that Glenn is the one that gets it. So we're taking down this whole roller coaster ride with Glenn thinking, oh, he's going to get it, so that you think he's going to get it when Negan bashes somebody's brains in. Except for, what if he still actually gets it?
That certainly could be a possibility for sure.
But they've got Maggie and Carol hostage right now as we record this. So what if it's fucking Maggie?
Yeah,
that'd be a
you
good
never
choice
know.
too.
Yeah, you never know. There's a lot of possibilities there, and I'm trying to think. Nothing else has been else.
Gotham.
Let's see. Yeah, Gotham was good. Scalped. They actually ordered the pilot. We knew that the WB had gotten, or the WGN had gotten the rights to make a scalp show. I know you watched Salem, right? And it was like.
I saw some of it on Netflix. I haven't gotten super deep into it, but it's right up my alley. I just have got so much other shit I haven't.
I know they're making a lot of original programming now. I haven't really watched any of it. I mean, when I think WGN, I just still think Saved by the Bell reruns and Carrie. Yeah, but apparently they make a lot of like original shows now, so hopefully it'll be good. But they actually ordered the pilot for it, so there is a pilot of Scalped going to be filmed very soon. So really excited about that because that definitely is like. I feel like the spiritual successor to like Breaking Bad and the Sons of Anarchy, like that show we're kind of missing right now. That if they do it right, that would be the perfect one.
Scalped is like my favorite comic right now. Of anything that Muji brings me to read on the backlog. Matter of fact, I lied to you. I said I didn't finish. I finished Scalped, and I'll go get that before we leave because it's my favorite. Like if it comes into my hands, I have to read it then. And
it's great.
So good.
Yeah, it's very great. Yeah,
and Jason Aaron once described it as the Sopranos on an Indian reservation, and I think that's a pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. It's really good. Ghostbusters preview. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I loved the Ghostbusters as a kid, but it's not one of those things that's like precious to me.
Yeah.
So watching that preview, I was just like, I mean, it looks okay. I mean, it looks just like your run-of-the-mill, like, comedy.
Summer effects comedy.
But it's got, it's got ghosts in it. So, I mean, it's the type of thing that, like, maybe, like, if somebody's like, do you want to go watch Ghostbusters with me? Then I might go watch it. But if not, then I'll catch it when it comes on Netflix or HBO or something.
Yeah, that'll be when I go to the drive-in for, probably. Like, I'm not, like, it was like, I loved Ghostbusters when I was a kid, but it, like, to me, it didn't hold up like some people think it holds up. Like the movies hold up. Especially the first.
The first one still holds up very well. The second one, and when you go back to rewatch it, it's not as cool.
No. And the animated series has its moments. There's some really badass characters, but
hasn't been
overall, it still is an '80s cartoon.
Yeah, there hasn't been enough like to keep the mythology like alive to me to where like for years I've been clamoring for this new movie. No, I do understand. I do understand if Ghostbusters is your favorite movie of all time. It's a completely valid thing to be like, this movie looks stupid, it doesn't have Bill Murray in it, I don't want to watch it, and you shouldn't take shit for it. But if you're, if you're online, if you're like, oh, they replaced the dudes with chicks, what a bunch of assholes, then that you kind of should probably keep that to yourself, because that's, then it's just not for you if that's the case.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly they're trying to appeal to the old fans. Like, if you look at least from the preview, each character is just a gender-swapped version of the other character.
That's it. That's it. I mean, I just feel like, and I think it'll probably do good, like, it'll do well enough, but I think they really missed the boat doing the Star Wars / Star Trek of, like, the passing of the baton. Like, why did you not have Aykroyd and Murray? Yeah. Just give the reins over to new Ghostbusters. It would have made everybody happy. I think they made a mistake there, but like I said, I don't care that much about the movie, so it's not either way. But it seemed like most reactions were not what it seems like our reaction is. Most people were like, oh shit, this looks great, or oh shit, this looks like shit.
It's pretty much split down the middle. Or a big
I didn't think it looked nearly as bad as everyone said it did, but I didn't think it looked great either. It's just like, cool, Ghostbusters. If it's at the drive-in with another good movie for a deal, I'll go see it on a double feature at the summertime.
There's so many other awesome movies that are going to be out that budgeting my movie dollars is kind of like, I just can't put the money down to go and see it in the theater. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there is like way more stuff. Like, we've got all of our superhero stuff. We got a new Star Wars coming at the end of the year. There's a bunch of other cool
Harry
stuff.
Potter,
so much stuff.
You're getting some action there. There's a movie out now I haven't even seen. I really wanted to see Creed. Finally saw it on Blu-ray. It was great.
Oh yeah, I heard.
It totally. The last like 10 minutes of the movie is totally like a guy cry moment.
Oh really?
A girl will cry too. It made my fiance cry, though she cries a lot watching TV. But it made her cry. It definitely like brought a tear to my eye. Like, 100%. There's two moments. Like, I won't say anything about the end, but like I really think in the beginning, which isn't really a spoiler, like right off the bat, like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, like obviously everybody knows like Michael B. Jordan's playing Apollo Creed's son, and in the first 10 minutes of the movie, you've got like a teenage version of Creed. Like, he's got like a desk job that he's got, like he's working this, but he boxes like on the side, amateur. And he comes home from his desk job and is sitting there and he's watching where he's recorded the fight from Rocky 1 between Apollo and Rocky, and he's shadow boxing all the moves his dad's throwing. Like, he's shadow boxing in front of the screen like he's boxing Rocky, and they're playing like a little bit, just a preview of Gonna Fly Now. And like immediately you're like, oh fuck, like this is great. And then they most perfectly, like, it's a whole new soundtrack, and a lot of it's like a little bit of like a modern version of the old Rocky songs. Yeah. But then they finally unleash Gonna Fly Now in the perfect part, and that's the part where if you love the first Rocky, you can't help but get tears in your eyes. You're just like, yes! So it was great. I finally got to see that. It was great. And then I really want to see, what is it, The Witch?
I saw
that. It's great, man. That's going to be one.
It was really spectacular. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing. That I don't know if I'll be able to like budget my time to go see it in the theater, but it may be one that I wait and grab it on Blu-ray and hold on to until around Halloween time. So when I start getting crazy in the mood for Halloween movies,
for me that'll be about next month.
It's just really different. It had a really distinct tone to it.
Well, horror needs that right now. So, and there's actually like there's a
great
lot of
horror
good
everywhere.
underground coming out right now.
Yeah, there's been some good movies. That is the thing now, is like, if there is good horror, but you can't really find it the majority of the time at the box office. And stuff that plays on festivals, even some stuff that like I've never even heard of that pops up on Netflix. that you just hear by going on boards and be like, oh, I like that director. Like, I mean, some of my favorite current horror directors, like I've never had an opportunity to see one of their movie in the theaters.
Yeah,
that's the way it's kind of going right now. But everywhere else, I mean, horrors. I mean, we talk about that for hours. I won't go into it. But everywhere else, whether it be comics or TV, horror is excelling. They just got to find it in the movie once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Got some of the best horror comics out there right now. There's so much good shit. We're going to talk about some of them in just a minute.
We will. We certainly will.
I wanted to say one thing before we got too far off of Gotham. Just like if you slept on the show, if you thought season 1 was goofy, like season 2 came back with a vengeance for the first half. They took their break. They're back. And the first story for the second half is about Mr. Freeze. And they have done the perfect Mr. Freeze origin story. It's so fucking awesome. You have to watch it. Yes, if you slept on Gotham,
check it out again.
Get to Mr. Freeze. You get Nora. You get the whole thing of him being a cryogenic expert trying to save her.
Yeah.
And you fucking all the way up to him actually becoming Mr. Freeze. So
awesome.
they have fucking he's a regular dude when it starts.
Yeah.
By the end of the last episode, he's become Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which Gotham is obviously at this point like its own universe. I started thinking about the other day. DC has a lot of universes out there going on, and the more the merrier. But that's pretty awesome. And the last talk about comics thing, I'll talk about quick toy update. If you guys really like awesome toys, I think I brought into the podcast, which of course you couldn't fucking see it, but you can see it online. Mezco makes these badass figures called a 112 Collective, where they're essentially the most awesome 12 scale figures, which essentially means they're around 6-inch figures. Okay. Most really high-end toys are 1/6 figures, which are 12-inch figures.
Yeah.
And that's where Hot Toys makes toys, and most of the big manufacturers. Well, Mezco's big thing is we're just shrinking down those toys into 6-inch versions. Cool. So they give you the quality and sculpt of those 112s, but they've shrunk it down into a 6-inch figure. So if you think about all the action figures you played with your whole life, it's just the most deluxe, badass version of it.
Right.
Yeah, I think I brought in my Dark Knight Returns one over a year ago.
Yeah,
that was the first foray into it. That was great. And then at Toy Fair they announced a shit ton of them, and they announced they were getting into Marvel, and it was kind of a small. They announced Daredevil, Punisher, and Cap, which all look great. And then yesterday, they're apparently going all in with Marvel because yesterday they released pictures. They haven't even gotten into the prototype. It's just the very beginning sculpting phase. But they got a Spider-Man, a Deadpool, a Red Skull.
Sweet.
So, and I'd say it's affordable. It's not like a toy. They're $65 a piece, which is way more than buying an action figure in the store. But really, it's three. Action figures cost $20 to $25 now. Yeah. It's basically buying 3 Marvel Legends is the cost of one of these things. And it's totally worth it. If you collect action figures, this is the best thing that's happened to action figures in a really long time.
Yeah, so. Marvel Legends is trying to get my money because I was in the comic store recently. I saw they had a Spider-Gwen 6-inch and the Ben Reilly Spider-Man as well.
Yeah,
in the same series. So
yeah. And if you're a crazy,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, if you're a crazy completionist collector like I was for all those things, there's 8 figures per line, so you're looking at spending $160 on those. You can get you 2 112s for that, and it's totally worth it. You're not going to get all the smaller characters, but you're going to get. You can just go online now and look at the Captain America that I've released for pre-order today. You're going to get the craziest, you would never expect to get a 6-inch figure that this is that's this detailed ever in your life version of Cap. So totally worth it if you have the extra funds to buy figures. I say buy less, just go with the quality. Get some Mezco. I wasn't paid for that. I would like to be. They don't know I'm a person. So.
Mezco is listening.
Yes. On that note, I guess we can get into the polls. So many polls.
The polls.
I had a lot of good stuff. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've been here, but a ton of good stuff. I'll hit on a couple of small ones here, and then tell you who my new comic boners for. But
comic boner.
Daredevil's picking up, man. This Charlie Soule, Ron Garney Daredevil, it's pretty badass. Also, the black costume's really badass that he wears in this, but it's really kicking up. And I would say he hasn't gone full Bendis I'm gonna make you suffer, motherfucker, Daredevil yet, where it's just somebody put him out of his misery. But But he's definitely going a little bit against the Mark Waid. It's like he's slowly taking him from where Mark Waid had made him like the happiest Daredevil of all time, which is a great run.
Yeah.
Waid and Samney had a phenomenal run on Daredevil. You're starting to see some seeds jump in where things are probably not going to be as great for this version of Matt Murdock. And I like my Daredevil like a little. I like for him to be a little bit. I don't want to say a little sad because it sounds bad. This is the only word. Like I like a Daredevil who's mentally a little unstable.
Okay, yeah.
But there was a great issue of that. Awesome book. I just picked up one on whim. And this is how your pull list gets big. Is I had a pull list week a couple weeks ago, and so I picked up 2 books because I was like, I came all the way to the comic store for $3. Like I don't even have any cash. Use a credit card machine. Got to spend $5. I might as well grab a couple extra books. And then luckily there's mini-series, but I grabbed like the Poison Ivy, Circle of Life and Death, which the first 2 issues have been pretty cool on it. It's like a 6 issue, so I'm going to get the whole thing because it's just 6. This too, though, The Legend of Wonder Woman.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's basically just like a complete, retelling with some updates of just the whole origin story of Wonder Woman.
Like Ultimate Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but it's been awesome so far, man. The first couple of issues have been great. I mean, I know we've seen a lot of Wonder Woman like stuff with like with just like her origin and everything, but this is like exploring like the whole first issue. She's just a kid, like probably 7-8-year-old kid. And then this one, she's like just coming into being a teenager. So you're really exploring like a time that hasn't been explored that much.
Yeah.
And it's just great. It's just really beautiful. It's written and drawn by, I think her name, Renee DeLiz.
Is she still made out of clay? And like that whole thing?
No, not really. It's more of like the new 52 version.
Okay.
They don't really say, you just, basically in this one, it's just her mom prayed for a kid.
Yeah.
And was able to have a kid, which I'm thinking later on it may be told like the Azzarello where maybe she had the kid with a man.
Yeah, I love the new 52 version of that because it just it explains her powers so much, and it explains like of course, why can't their fucking Amazons fly? Because they're not a fucking child of a god. Well, it makes sense,
Yeah, exactly. And plus, Wonder Woman, who's never had a very strong cast of villains, by bringing in all of the Greek gods, you gave her this great, huge list of people that she could go against.
Yeah, basically it was the Cheetah and Giganta, and that was pretty much all she had.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but this one's great, man. The story's really good. It's a really good retelling, and I just think the artwork, it's different, but I think it's phenomenal. It just looks really, really good. So
I'm breathing on Moochie's shoulder over here, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna continue to be picking this up. I think it's it's a weird number. It's maybe it's a 7 or 9 issue miniseries, but there's already a push. The artist and writer of it has already been on. I've seen her online pushing. She's like, I've got a version 2 written if DC greenlights it, and apparently it's picking up. The first issue actually ended up selling out, which is a huge surprise on it, and they had to reprint it. So hopefully we get more of that because I've loved it so far. Superman American Alien, man, continues to be really good, man. It's my favorite Superman stuff since the new 52 for sure. It's my favorite Superman story so far. Even though after rereading, Superman Unchained was pretty badass. It just lost so much momentum with it taking 12 years for it to come out. But I got the hardcover, reread it, and it definitely read a lot better whenever, you didn't have to go back 3 months and be like, what's this villain? What's he doing? But I really liked American Alien. This was Matt Landis. This one, the artwork is done by Jai Lee, is that how you say his name?
I think so.
Jay Lee.
It's either Jay or Jai. I can't. I don't know.
But he's really awesome, and it's another great issue. This one, the basic premise for this one, we'll just say is there's this big meeting of all of the young rich minds in the world, and Clark and Lois both go there or sent there to try to get interviews, and or they go there both to try to get interviews of all the people, and then. Lois ends up getting an interview with young Bruce Wayne, and Clark gets to talk to Luthor. Gets an interview with Luthor, and it's really great. And then Clark and Luthor kind of run into each other. And if you've been keeping up with read the last issue that had the great where everybody thought that Clark was Bruce Wayne, and he got to play the part of him for a day. Bruce Wayne, of course, knows about it and takes a little bit of issue, and so it's really awesome. So this issue is another great issue of that. The new guy, man, it's Tom King. you may not read a lot of Tom King books, but you're apparently gonna, because even though they're doing official announcements at WonderCon in 2 weeks of who's going to be taking over all the DC books, because apparently almost all the creative teams are going to be different. Like
That's what I'm waiting
it's
for.
slowly trickling out. I mean, Jeff Johns is off Justice League, Snyder Capullo is off Batman, at least for now. They're saying David Finch and his wife are off Wonder Woman. So all the big books look like they're going to get creative changes and
have musical chairs at the
and
DC
Tom,
office.
yeah, and Tom King just was one of the guys. Apparently, DC reached out and offered a bunch of people like good contracts if they would just stay DC. So Tom King's becoming just exclusive to DC, which essentially exclusive in the comics world means you can't work for Marvel, or if you're Marvel exclusive, you can't work for DC. That's pretty much how it is. But he's becoming DC exclusive, which means that the Vision is going to end, but it still gets its 12-issue run that he had originally set out to write. So that's awesome. But based on all the rumors, he's like their big announcement. You can only assume he's going to write Batman, because if you're gonna like throw out there like this is our guy, this is our big,
he's our man.
Yeah, then you're probably going to give him Batman. But from what I've read of him so far, I think it'd be great. I actually think he would be almost even better for Superman. But both of these books are awesome. Both of these were like, I'd heard about them, and I was like, I don't need that on my pull list, but I'm going to. Sheriff of Babylon is it's like a mini from Vertigo, but apparently has the option of being ongoing. But it may be one that just comes out in volumes. It may take a break after like the first 6 issues. But Tom King's backstory is he really was in the CIA, and he worked for the government in Iraq. So that's how, like in Grayson, where they made him a secret agent, that was the idea of that. And so this is like, fictional, but based off of his time when he was in Iraq, and it takes part like right after the fall of Saddam is where this takes after, and it's awesome. Like this is definitely like the new great Vertigo book. It's the great, the spiritual successor to all these other old great Vertigo books. It's just so great. It's Tom King writing it. Mitch Gerards that does the artwork on it, and it's just really badass. I would definitely recommend anybody read it. And then The Vision might be the best Marvel book that I've read right now. Is nuts. I mean, it's some real high concept sci-fi stuff. It's some hard sci-fi, but completely grounded like in a family thing. The basic premise of it is the Vision wants to have a family, but as it goes on, like you slowly so he has created for him. He basically goes and finds some humans and does what was done to him. Of course, they volunteer for it, but kind of uses their memories and like their life to create a family for himself. So you've got a Mrs. Vision and some kids that are all, there.
They look like
and they're all like the Vision. They're all super smart and can learn the whole, it's just all these things they cope with. Like they're going to school and they're trying to fit in school, but they can learn the whole internet in like 5 minutes. So it's like, why are they there? It's like the whole thing is like them trying to be a normal family, but they don't have emotions. But as the book's gone on, and we're in issue 5 now, you kind of see where they slowly like get emotions.
Look, Wanda, you could not bear my child. I bore my own.
and at the beginning, and it's great, man, because it's like this really slow burn mystery. In the first issue, you find out that something truly horrific is going to happen by the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's just mentioned basically by the Vision, where he's like, this is where, if I would have decided differently, this is where things would have gone differently. This is why this wouldn't have happened. And you're just like, oh, fuck. And it's slowly going towards that. And it's just really great, man. It's awesome. It's awesome writing. The artwork. It seems like the best writers go out and pair up with the best artists too, man. And the artist on this one, I think something to Walta, but he's awesome. The artwork on it is great. He did some of the Hulk by Charlie Soule, I believe, stuff before, or at least some of the like fill-ins and stuff is where I've seen him before. But yeah, it's a Gabriel Hernandez Walta. Okay. It's just really good, man. It looks awesome, and it's just so crazy. It's just like the craziest sci-fi book, but it just feels like a little sitcom, like the weirdest sitcom. But I highly recommend it, reading it all. And then it's going to go 12 issues. It's probably not, I'm guessing they're going to cancel after that, but he said he had a 12-issue story planned out, and so he's going to get to finish that. So he's going to get 7 more issues of it. But then my pick of the week, in a month that I had a bunch of really awesome comics, man, my pick of the week, this is the last I could add. This is another, like, I don't need to add more books. And for some reason, I didn't add it until like the day before.
Yeah.
I love Daredevil and Samney's whole Wade and Samney's whole Daredevil run, and then went to Black Widow. And then for some reason, I was like, why the fuck wouldn't I get that? It's the same team. Yeah, exactly, dude. And it is incredible. And they're doing this thing now too, where Samney is writing more of it than he was before. Like they've got Wade and Samney they're the co-writers on the book. Mm-hmm. And then of course Samney, does the penciling and everything, so he's doing his normal art duties. But the first one just seemed like the whole first issue seems like the opening 5 minutes from like a great movie. Like much like whenever there was some of the D52 stuff, like when we were reading like Justice League, where like Jeff Johns just wrote a Justice League movie, like why don't they just adapt this into a movie, which I mean they have for the animated, but you go, this is just a feature film. That's what the beginning of this is almost like, oh, you don't think you could do a Black Widow movie? Well, if this was the first 5 minutes of your movie, I would be like, oh shit.
Just lay
like,
it
I imagine
here's how you do it.
Yeah, I imagine at the end of this issue, the credits pop up, Marvel presents Black Widow, and I'm just like, damn. It's that good. And they've come up with this crazy thing, which I believe I read is an intentional thing to keep going, where because Natasha's a secret agent, they're not going to give you any inner dialogue for her during the series. So you're just going to watch what's happening. I mean, obviously she's going to talk and everything, but you're not going to know what she's thinking because it's supposed to be secret, because she's supposed to be a secret agent. So she's not going to spell it out for you. And I know it's kind of like a weird thing, dude, but it's just so good. Like this is just basically like one really long chase scene. Or the action, it's Sam the art, so it looks phenomenal. And, and they've gone back kind of to the classic, like, Shield's after, Black Widow for some reason. They're coming after her, and obviously we're going to find out as the book goes on, but highly recommended. Gotta pick it up. Add it to your fucking pull list.
Alright. On to the Todd pulls. Start out with my Marvel stuff.
Imagine if you ever broke off from us and decided to do an independent pod and betrayed us, it would just be called Todd Pulls.
This is Todd Pulls. Just mine.
Yeah, the Todd Pod with the Todd Pulls. We've got 2 perfect names.
And then when you get a whole new group of friends, it'll be the Todd Squad Pod.
Yeah.
That's a new spin-off series coming soon.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Deadpool, Joe Kelly has returned triumphantly to write Deadpool again with Spider-Man in tow, and it's been really good. He started out trying to team up with old Spidey at first, but now he's determined to put this hit in on Peter Parker, who he just thinks is Spider-Man's boss. So he in this issue he investigates to see if Peter Parker is truly evil, and he goes into the Parker Industries building, or one of them, and he finds this secret laboratory where they're doing human experiments and all kinds of like Weapon X looking stuff, and he gets really pissed off and kills a bunch of people. So yeah, he's totally game for trying to assassinate Peter Parker. So
is Ed McGinnis on art?
Yeah, McGinnis is on art too. So
like
you get the whole.
It's like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries.
I'm not really sure how long they're going to go with it.
5 or 6 issues? Maybe.
Maybe
he'll do it. Maybe McGinnis will do it.
Yeah, McGinnis will last that long. Hopefully they continue on. Maybe they'll bring in some of the other former Deadpool artists to work on it.
I gotta tell you, I mean, it probably will happen when Dan Slott finally, whatever happens, and he leaves Spider-Man, because I would just really like for him to leave Spider-Man so I can read it again. But
there's no sign of him ever leaving.
It doesn't, because it sells really good. I mean, obviously enough people really like him. Or it's like the pro wrestling crowd where like some people just bitch but buy the comic no matter what. So it doesn't matter if they don't speak with their money. But I really want Peter Parker to lose all his money again, because there's just this part of my brain that goes like, everybody's got to know he's Spider-Man. Like now he's like so rich, and he's
he's doing the Tony Stark thing where Spider-Man's his bodyguard.
But you know that Iron Man's Tony Stark. Like he's Tony. I mean, that's not like a secret.
Well, now it is for Spider-Man. It's silly, but you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
I mean, I do. I just talked about like 20 comic books. Even that.
Moving on to All New X-Men number 5, where they confront the Blob. Or really, it's just the Lady Wolverine and her boyfriend Angel, who are having relationship troubles over her pretty much trying to get herself killed, and he's not too keen on that, apparently. This comic is a lot more like Ultimate X-Men, I'd say, and I mean, it has Bagley on art, so it kind of has that Ultimate Spider-Man look to it. So you get a young, hip, new X-Men. I've really enjoyed it so far.
Cool. Much X-Men.
Yeah, it's my favorite of the X-Men titles right now. Then we got Spider-Man. The Miles Morales, Bendis written Spider-Man has been pretty good so far. He gets his team up with the regular Spider-Man in this. We got Spider-Gwen, which has been pretty good. This is the conclusion of the first story arc where she has to battle the Green Goblin, who is Harry Osborn in this universe. And there's a female Captain America who's like kind of teamed up with her in all this. And for my DC pulls, I'm moving through these really fast.
Oh, you're fine.
Robin, son of Batman, he finally is coming back to Gotham after all this time away. It's kind of sad because the whole relaunch is coming up, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen to this book in particular, but it's been really good.
I've heard they showed like a preliminary list. I don't think this book made the cut.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is that the big rumor is that Damian's going to be the leader of the Teen Titans in the new relaunch Teen Titans, which I think is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I'd probably
he's such a
just
little
jump
ass
over to that.
That's immediate good drama that you're going to get.
And he'd make a good leader.
Yeah, he's going to be so mad that all of them aren't, fully professional. Like whoever they put on the Teen Titans, they're going to make them angry.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
On to the indie books. Invader Zim has continued to be really good. We got issue 7 this last month, and it's kind of the creator of the series is kind of left, and he's more of a producer, editor kind of function right now, and it's kind of like the show in that there's like a 2-act structure. There's like 2 short stories instead of just one big overarching story, and it's just all out nonsense pretty much. Archie has continued to be really good. I wasn't sure I'd continue reading it for this long, but Mark Waid's amazing, as we all know, and he's kept it going. I think this is Veronica Fish's last issue, number 6, and I think they're just going to rotate artists every 3 issues apparently.
I think somebody got the full gig.
Oh,
and
really?
I thought it was her.
I was hoping it was her, because Veronica Fish...
I thought they announced possibly that she's going to be the ongoing artist now.
I hope, because she's really good. She's a good replacement for Fiona Staples, but she kind of has her own style, and it really fits the tone of the comic perfectly. So hopefully as long as Mark Waid's on it, I will probably be picking it up.
The new hip relaunched Archie, soon to be coming to CW.
That's right,
and
the
I have
CW
to wonder
Archie.
if they don't take a little bit of from this comic,
I hope
considering
they do.
it seems to be the same backstory.
I think they're they're doing one thing a little different, is that it's a completely like sexy Jughead. Like they released like the casting of that, and where they made a big point in the Jughead comic to like make the deal that he's asexual. On the TV show, he's not gonna be like the casting is like he's a really mysterious I'm afraid Jughead's probably gonna show up with a leather jacket and a motorcycle.
He's less about eating hamburgers and more about smoldering.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems like it's going to be.
Less about eating hamburgers and more about eating pussy.
Yes. I think we're definitely going to be getting like the Wood Tree Hill / Gossip Girl version of Archie, but we'll see.
Maybe it'll turn out okay. On to the pulls of the week. The horror genre has had a big resurgence. Alan Moore's Providence. It's always a 5-star comic. And after the events of the previous issue 6, this is number 7, you would think the main character would lose his sanity completely, but to keep the story going, he kind of finds a way to rationalize these horrible, horrible things that are happening to him. And he had this long conversation with the character in this one where he pretty much tells him that what happened to him was real. But like he picks up on just one little thing he said. He's like, "Oh, they were hypnotizing me, and I hallucinated this horrible event that happened." And it allows the story to continue on. But it's just amazing. It's hard to describe, but you just have to read it. Sweet. And on to my pull of the week. Peter Milligan gets his hat in the ring of the horror genre, and this is an erotic horror thriller. Just that tagline made me, I want to find out what this is all about. There's like a damsel in distress being tormented by some kind of alien, or
you're like, am I too old for a comic to give me a boner?
No, apparently not. It satisfies on the horror and the boner level. So I totally recommend The Discipline, which came out this last week. We got Leandro Fernandez on her. We'll have to read this one sexily from now on. Today on The Discipline.
The Discipline. Oh.
So you gotta go check those out.
Well, I had a few here to talk about. I see Jay has actually been to the comic store since I have, so. But we have Darth Vader 16, and he's going to tell you about 17 here in a minute. 16, we just learned that Dr. Aphra has been captured by the rebels following the events of Vader Down, and he's sent by the Emperor on sort of a side mission. It's Darth Vader doing diplomacy is what you get to see in this, and it's quite amusing as he basically goes to this planet, puts this bitch in power, and he's like, "Don't forget who put you here," and does a bunch of heinous shit, and she's like, why? He's like, "Because I'm fucking Darth Vader, that's why."
Yeah.
Do it, or you're fucked. And then he
has
a little
Vader
contention. He has a moment of contention with the Emperor for killing, I can't remember, the general who was the Mon Calamari, who was a Jedi, I can't remember his name. But yeah.
I lost it.
Yeah, he like, the Emperor is like, "What the fuck?" And Darth Vader's like, "Well, he said, "Is that lightsaber scars I see?" He's like, "Don't fucking worry about it." It's so many words. So, good issue. That's all we had on the Marvel side of things. Let's go to the Independence Image Comics. Bitch Planet number 7.
President Bitch.
President Bitch Part 1 start. This book is just great. Kelly Sue DeConnick is an awesome writer anyway. And sweetheart of a gal, a great person. Like, we met her and Matt Fraction at Heroes Con this past year on our great summer vacation.
They'll be there again this year.
Yeah, I hope so. But this issue is actually the beginning of a whole new arc. We've seen the main character slowly introduced in this whole infrastructure that is the prison and the crazy things that go on. We saw the one inmate accidentally killed in the rugby game, so there's the shit with the guards. But we find our main character has a stooge hiding in the shower, and I can't remember her name, but she's been like getting information from this person who apparently works at the prison. So she's got an in, so that's a good thing, because when we flash to the corporate suits, they're talking about getting this big arena built for the gladiators to come in and fight and shit, and bad shit is on the horizon for our dear heroines. But Bitch Planet's a very edgy book. It's women's prison drama in space, so that tells you all you need to know about that. DC The Flash 48 and 49. Storyline is that Barry Allen is on the run from the law, and in 49 we have Sad Flash. Sad Flash behind bars. In true DC fashion, it's the last panel of the book that they finally catch him. So they give the fucking spoiler away right on the cover. DC's horrible about doing that, but it happened.
They really do.
And 48 was just kind of the lead into that. The Rogues, it's a great classic Flash story because it brings all the elements back. The Rogues are the one after him, but because of the events of what was the big event where Captain Cold turned good and Lex Luthor turned good?
Forever Evil.
Yes, the Forever Evil. Because of that, like, the Rogues are fucking deputized and working with the cops, and they're coming after the Flash, and so he's like on the run. His dad's escaped from prison, or he actually got him exonerated finally a few issues ago, but so, like, he has to go meet with his dad for some advice and shit, and they're on his tail. Like I said, eventually they catch him. But Venditti has had a great run, and like I said, I'm going to be sad to see this go because it's really kept the same feel for the whole of New 52. From issue number 1, even though it's been 2 totally different creative teams, the book has really felt the same, and I'm going to miss that.
It's going to be one of the few books out of our pull list that survived the whole New 52.
But my pick of the week, and if this one doesn't, because this is brand new, if this doesn't survive the New 52, if they don't just reboot it, I'm going to be severely pissed. Because, you know, we just suffered through that Cullen Bunn run on Aquaman.
You guys hate Cullen Bunn, don't you?
Nobody likes it. I don't hate Cullen Bunn, even though he's not my favorite. What I do hate is taking to the internet and being like, well, people said they didn't like it, so I quit.
His run on Aquaman was, like, he tried to bring something a little different to what had been done, but it was a total deviation from the feel of the book previously. So, Dan Abnett, original writer, not original writer, but the writer who popularized Guardians of the Galaxy, puts a whole new spin on the book. Aquaman and Mera are back together. Like, it's a very upbeat Aquaman. Like, it's been very gritty previously, so it's a total change of pace. You know, Mira's back to being a super awesome character when he really just, like, Cullen Bunn just totally erased her. Like, he took her completely out of the story, and her evil twin sister replaced her and took over Atlantis. So this is all about them living on the land. And the villain they introduce in this is fucking awesome. We don't know anything about it. It's just this fucking demonic thing that can travel through water and murder motherfuckers. And so we've got a nice little murder mystery right off the top, but Aquaman and Mera are like fully embracing this. We live in Amnesty Bay, and we're going to go to this, like they take even some of the Atlanteans to like the town festival, like the Harvest Festival, you know, and it's just like, so they can get a feel for being the people's heroes there in the city, because they feel like they're out of touch with the people on the land. And God damn it, I love this. Who we have on the art here? Not names I'm real familiar with. I see Cifuentes, Del Castro, and Major. I'm looking here for the credits page, but I don't see it.
Sometimes they hide it.
Yeah, there we go.
It's annoying.
Vicente Cifuentes, John Dell, and Guy Major were your
Guy Major, that's a cool name.
It is.
His name was Guy Major.
So, get your hands on this one while you can, because it could be a thing of the past come the reboot, and that would be a damn shame, because that's what Aquaman has been missing since Jeff Johns left.
And I guess we're gonna see too, kind of like what happens, because, you know, with the little details we have is the big sells that it's not a reboot. That and a couple of things have been happening, like in a couple of the books I don't read, but I've heard that like some of the like characters have kind of been like regaining memories of things that like they had forgotten had happened and all this stuff, and that maybe they start to remember like Flashpoint a little. So like what I hear is like it's not really rebooting it, but it's just gonna like put back into continuity some of like the older things. So
I think that's what it's gonna be, a merging of the two continuities to get things close to where they are on TV and in the movies.
Yeah, I think so, which will be fine if that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Jay, take it home, baby.
Yep, I got a few here that are worth mentioning. Dan mentioned number 16, Darth Vader. I managed to pick up and read number 17. And of course, as is typical with this book, it is fucking great. Just to give you a little hint, they're still on the, I can never think of the name of the planet, but it's the Ore planet. And he's there, and this kind of takes place after the diplomacy part, because some of the barons and things are like, that shit's not going to fly. Well, Darth Vader has a few things to say about it.
I'm sure he does.
So it's really good. You should definitely pick that up for sure. What else have I got here? Extraordinary X-Men is I'm still really enjoying it. Yeah. It's not as like, I don't know, action-packed as you normally would think an X book is, or at least it hasn't been so far that I've seen. But yeah, it's been really good. I know Todd talked about the all new, but you know, if you're an X fan, I think you should check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. So Amir's still doing a good job on it, so we'll see how long it lasts. Also got here the astonishing Ant-Man number 5. Everybody knows I'm going to talk about an Ant-Man comic. I can't help it.
It's a great book.
Picked it up. It's still carrying on. If you have not picked it up yet, pick it up. It's just a great book. In this one, or previously, Ant-Man had given this IT guy the Giant Man suit.
Oh.
Well, he fucks it all up as Giant Man. Like, he's horrible as Giant Man. And so, like, the whole thing is, Ant-Man's gonna teach him, like, here's how you gotta be a superhero. But he sucks at being a superhero too, so there's all kind of antics that happen. And then on the side storyline, there's still the two competing villain acts, Hinch and damn, I can't remember the other one.
I don't remember that.
But yeah, that's still kind of simmering around too. So I think that's about to make another appearance here shortly. So it's a good book. Pick it up. I guess I'll end it with my pick of the week here. Old Man Logan number 3, another Lemire book. Man, this book is just, I just love it. If you're an Old Man Logan fan, you know, from the first time we had him, and then you're in the new this new book, it's just spot on. Last issue in number 2, or well, let me just say this: the whole premise of the book so far is he's going through this list of people that he is going to kill because they, in the alternate Old Man Logan verse, you know, had to do with the downfall of superheroes and things like that. So, like last issue, he went to look to kill the Hulk, Bruce Banner, but he finds the other Hulk. And it's a whole book, like the other Hulk's like, look, I'm not Bruce Banner, like, what are you doing?
Oh, it's like the totally awesome Hulk?
Yeah. Well, in this one, he goes after, well, let me open it up here, because Hawkeye makes an appearance, but he's actually going after, well, I don't want to F it up. Anyway, he goes looking for Hawkeye, because they were like buddies.
Yeah.
But he runs into Kate Bishop, and Logan keeps calling her the other Hawkeye. But yeah, in the first book, he goes after the Butcher, slaughters him. Last issue, he goes after Banner. Well, it's the wrong one. Now he's going after. Well, shit.
I think it's Amadeus Cho.
Yeah,
is the Hulk now.
Yes, that's it. There's a lot of kind of flashing forward and back for him in the book. Find it, because I know he's going after Mysterio too.
It's all the people that fucked him in the original.
Yeah. With I mean, pretty much the whole thing. He never actually finds who he's looking for.
Red Skull would have to be on there.
Yeah, Red Skull's on the list, but that's not who it is. Well, you'll just have to read it, I guess, to find out. But yeah, he's traveling around with the other Hawkeye, and he's being super brutal. And the whole time she's like, "Look, this is like completely different. Like, time travel changes things. These people are alive. You're not going to do this." But he doesn't believe it, so he's like cutting people's hands off and stuff.
Yeah.
But then on the last panel, or the last 2 pages, we see Old Man Logan's down on the ground, and you see some boots. And this guy says, "You need to stand down, soldier." And then the last page is a fucking old man Rogers showing up to straighten him out a little bit. So I think the next issue is going to be pretty good.
The next issue is going to be the Boca Avengers.
Boca Avengers is totally, they're making it happen.
But yeah, it's been really good. If you haven't picked it up, it's only issue 3, so you got a good chance of getting all of them. And it's my pick of the week. So.
Awesome. Well, hell of an issue. Got a couple cool things added to the pull list going to be coming up for me. Got Haunted Mansion by Josh Williamson of Nailbiter fame.
That came out this week. You gotta pick that up.
That'll be in my pull box when I go to the comics this weekend. I've also got the Podameron series starting soon. It's on my list.
I added that. Yeah, that's 2 or 3 weeks.
And the C-3PO special.
I didn't get that. Yeah, I mean, that's. I'm not even gonna have to add that. I mean, that's not gonna be an option.
I know. Like I've had to add almost every Star Wars book except for the main title.
I'm probably gonna have to get that one.
Yeah, I can't remember who's doing the art. Marjorie Liu's writing it. Who she writes this book from Image. I read the first couple of called Monstrous. It's cool. But she's doing it. I mean, it's fucking about Han Solo. So
what more do you need to know?
You could just say there's a book coming out about Han Solo. Period. It'll get bought. Yeah, I've got that Poe Dameron coming up that's being added, and then I've got that Black Panther starts in the next couple weeks. I added that, so I'm gonna check that out. I saw like the first 6 pages of it, and it looks pretty awesome so far. So they showed that, so that's pretty cool. And then what else, man? I don't even know. There's the Image books, but there's a Fade Out special coming out, a 10-year anniversary special. Not a Fade Out, a Criminal 10-year anniversary special coming out.
Oh, even better.
So gonna add that. That's gonna be awesome. So yeah.
What about you guys? Got anything new coming to the poll list?
I'm waiting for Miracle Man to come back.
It's not. It's on an indefinite hiatus. They said that it was really delayed, And for some reason,
they've done some promotional art for it.
They announced today that all 3 had been taken out of Diamond, that they were postponed indefinitely, and they have not announced when they're going to come out. So
they're going to come out because they've done work on it.
They're going to come out, yeah, but something's going on where it's going to be a while, apparently. Yeah, so that's really weird.
Yeah, so I guess I'll be waiting on that for a while. Because the new storyline's actually supposed to feature new issues that haven't been printed yet.
Yeah.
After a 26-year stretch. But I'm also looking forward to Graveyard Quest, which is an Oni comedy book, which is by one of the creators from the Invader Zim comic, which is supposed to be pretty funny. And the Earth 2 Wonder Woman, which has been delayed a few times, I think, by Grant Morrison.
That's supposed to come out in 2 weeks, because that's big.
Okay.
No, that's coming out. No, in 2 weeks is.
It should be this month.
I've got a list. I got a list of books that are coming out, and there's one big week coming up. No, next week is something pretty good. But then I think it's like maybe the first week of March. It's in the same week they're releasing the Civil War hardcover re-release for the first time in years. They're releasing Earth 1 and something else. It's like a brand new book that's cool. I think it's the first week in March. But it's coming up, or first week in April, but it's coming up really soon. It's within the next, 3 to 4 weeks that's coming out, so.
I hope so. I've been waiting on that one.
Awesome. Jay, you got anything you're adding to?
Probably, I'm going to stick with what I've got, except for the Han Solo book when it comes out. Because my box or my list is pretty much maxing me out on the old card. So I'll be borrowing a lot of books, guys.
Been there, done it, pal. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, I've got to do, when they announce the Rebirth titles, I got to figure out what I'm not.
Yeah.
What I'm going to,
not reevaluate.
Yeah, what I'm not going to be able to live without, and then I'm going to have to, chop down the list a little bit. But I got a lot of books ending, too. I've got some Image books that are ending. I got some mini-series that are ending.
Yeah, I get a lot of minis, too. I try to rotate a good solid few minis in my set so that you can always have new shit to pick up without causing much of a ruffle in your pull list.
It keeps things moving there.
Well, hell, good show.
Yeah, it's a good show. So if you don't spend all of your money going to see Batman vs. Superman and Deadpool and buy Netflix and all the other ways to watch the comic book stuff, then throw a few bucks to the old local comic book store and get you some pulls.
This has been a production of the Potty Humor Network. Find us online at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe to us weekly and never miss an episode by searching Potty Humor on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you for listening and good night.